You love her. You're pretty sure she knows that. You work hard, you show up, you're always there. But something's off. There's a distance between you that wasn't always there. A low-level tension, a feeling like you're living alongside each other rather than actually together. And the worst part is you don't know what you're doing wrong. You're not exploding, you're not being cruel, you're just not connecting. And that disconnection has a way of turning into resentment, into arguments that seem to come out of nowhere, and into a relationship that feels more like a management arrangement than a marriage. Today, I want to show you why that happens, and more importantly, what to do about it. Because the fix is simpler than you think, and it starts with understanding one thing about how your partner actually receives love. Hello, I'm Alastair Duhs, and welcome to the Anger Secrets YouTube channel. For over 30 years, I've helped more than 15,000 men and women control their anger, master their emotions, and create calmer, happier, and more loving relationships. If you'd like my personal help to control your anger, head over to angersecrets.com. You can book a free 30-minute call with me, or grab my free training on how to break the anger cycle. But today we're talking about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention in conversations about anger, and that's connection. Because a lot of the time, anger isn't really the problem. The disconnection between you and your partner underneath it is. And once you understand that, a whole new set of tools becomes available to you. Now here's something I've noticed after decades of working with couples. When two people feel genuinely connected, when they both feel loved and understood by each other, the arguments are fewer, less intense, and easier to recover from. Anger still shows up, but it doesn't take root in the same way. But when there's disconnection between people, when one or both people feel unseen, unloved, or unappreciated, that's when the smallest thing can set off a disproportionate reaction. It may be the unwashed dishes, the distracted response, a cancelled plan. These things shouldn't cause a big blow-up, but they often do, because they're landing on a relationship foundation that's already cracked. So if you want to get your anger under control, one of the most powerful things you can do is work on your relationship connection. And to do that, it helps to understand something called the 5 love languages. The 5 love languages is a concept developed by relationship counselor Dr. Gary Chapman. The idea is simple but profound. Not everyone gives and receives love in the same way. What makes you feel loved might be completely different from what makes your partner feel loved. And if you've been expressing love in your way instead of theirs, they may have been feeling unloved for years, even while you thought you were doing everything right. That gap between the love you think you're showing and the love they actually feel is one of the most destructive forces in any relationship. Let me walk you through the 5 love languages, and as I do, I want you to think about your partner. Which one of these sounds most like them? The first love language is words of affirmation. For some people, words are everything. A genuine compliment, a sincere thank you, or hearing the words "I love you" said out loud. These things fill them up in a way that nothing else quite does. So if your partner's primary love language is words of affirmation, they need to hear that you appreciate them, that you notice what they do, that you love them, not just in an assumed way, but actually said out loud. And here's the flip side. If words are their love language, criticism lands harder than it would for anyone else. A harsh comment, a dismissive tone, or a sarcastic remark in an argument. These things don't just sting in the moment. They cut deep. They stay. So if you've been wondering why your partner seems so affected by the way you speak to them during conflict, this might be why. The second love language is acts of service. For some people, love is shown through action, not grand gestures, just the practical everyday things that say, "I see what you're carrying and I want to help." Things such as doing the dishes without being asked, sorting out the car service, taking something off their to-do list before they have to ask. These things communicate love to someone whose language is acts of service more powerfully than any words could. So if this is your partner's love language, and you've been forgetting to pull your weight around the house, even while telling them that you love them, they may genuinely be feeling unloved. Not because you don't love them, but because the signal they're looking for isn't arriving. The third love language is receiving gifts. This one is often misunderstood. It's not about materialism. It's about thoughtfulness. A small gift that shows you were thinking of your partner, their favourite chocolates, a book they mentioned once, or flowers for no reason. These things communicate that they are on your mind, that they matter, that you see them. If this is your love language and your approach has always been, they know I love them, I don't need to buy things to prove it, they may be interpreting this as indifference, even though you mean nothing of the type. The fourth love language is quality time. For a lot of partners, and this is one I see that come up constantly in my work with couples, what they need most is your full, undivided attention. Not sitting in the same room while you're on your phone, not half listening while you're watching a game on television, but being present and actually there. If quality time is their love language, and you've been physically at home but mentally somewhere else, they've been feeling alone even while you've been in the same house. That loneliness breeds resentment, and resentment is one of the most reliable anger triggers I know. The fifth and final love language is physical touch. For some people, physical affection is the primary way they feel safe and loved. Not just in an intimate sense, but a hand on the shoulder, a hug that lasts slightly longer than usual, or holding hands on the sofa. These things communicate, I'm here, you're safe, and I love you. If this is your partner's love language and physical affection has dropped off in your relationship, maybe because of stress, distance, or the general business of life, your partner may be feeling more alone and less loved than you realize. Now, knowing these 5 love languages is only half the battle. The real work is in applying them. And here's where it connects directly to anger. When you start consistently speaking your partner's love language, when they start feeling genuinely loved and seen, something shifts in your relationship. The tension will lower. The baseline of relationship quality improves. The small things stop landing as hard because your relationship foundation is stronger. This is something I work on deliberately with couples I coach. I'll often ask my clients, do you know what your partner's love language is? And a surprising number of them don't. They've been showing love the way they like to receive it, which is natural but often misses the mark completely. A simple place to start to change this is just to have a conversation. Ask your partner what makes you feel most loved. What do I do that means the most to you? Most partners will tell you if you ask, and many people are surprised by the answer. You could also both take a love languages quiz. It's free on Dr. Chapman's website and compare notes. It's a 20-minute exercise that can change the entire dynamic of your relationship. And finally, one more thing worth saying. Love languages can shift over time. What your partner needed from you 5 years ago might not be what they need now. Life changes, kids arrive, work gets harder, and stress accumulates. And the way people need to be loved often changes with it. So this isn't a once and done conversation. It's an ongoing one. And the willingness to keep having it is itself an act of love. Disconnection doesn't often announce itself in relationships. Instead, it creeps in slowly, through the days when you're both too tired to really talk, through the arguments that never quite get resolved, and through the growing feeling that you're sharing a house but no longer a life. But disconnection can be reversed. And often the starting point is far simpler than you think. It starts simply with understanding how your partner actually receives love and making the effort to speak that language, even imperfectly and even when things are hard. That's one of the most powerful things you can do for your relationship and for your anger, because a connected relationship is a resilient one, and a resilient relationship can hold the hard moments without breaking. And if you want help working on this, or if the disconnection in your relationship has been building for a while and you're not sure how to change it, I'd love to talk. Head over to angersecrets.com and book a free 30-minute call with me. We'll look at what's going on and map out a real path for it. My free training on how to break the anger cycle is also available at angersecrets.com/training. And if anger is costing you in your relationships, with your kids, or in your own sense of who you are, I also want to point you to something. I've put together a video called Anger Has a Pattern, Here's How to Break It. Go watch that video next. I'll see you there. And as always, thank you for watching, and remember, you can't control other people, but you can control yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.